afternoon, welcome to VANIK-IAS, and we'll discuss current affair of 7th July. Okay, so first question, both foreign direct investment and foreign institutional investor, that is FII, are related to investment in a country. Which of the two statements both represents an important difference between the two? Right. First, FIF helps in better management skills and technology. FDI only brings capital. No, FDI does not brings capital. FII brings capital. FDI do not. It brings capital, but that is with fixed assets. Right. So it is not only brings capital. It also brings management skills and technology. So first statement is wrong. Then third statement, FDI flows only in secondary market. No, it is FDI is for direct asset creation inside a country. FII it talks about it is in both primary and secondary market. So this is in stock market. FII is related to stock market, right? It invests in stocks for an institutional investor. So this statement is wrong. FII is considered as more stable. No, FII is unstable, right? FII is unstable and FDI is stable. We can say FDI is stable, FII is unstable, because anytime interest rate increases in a particular country, then outflow happens, right? Suppose US Fed Reserve increase the interest rate, then FII will outflow from Indian market to US market. So this is FII is unstable and FDI is stable. So and third, the B statements is it says that FII helps in increasing capital availability. Yes, FII it invests in capital in stock markets, whereas while FDI only targets specific sectors. Yes, it targets specific sectors, for example, like industries or particular industry. They invest and create assets. So B is the answer. Okay, next. Consider the following: foreign currency convertible bonds, foreign institutional investment with certain conditions. Yes. Which of the following are foreign direct investment? Which of them are coming under FDI? Right. And foreign currency convertible bonds, yes, it is an FDI. And foreign institutional investment with certain conditions, yes, that are also FDI. And global depositor receipts or GDR, which we call as GDR, that is also one type of FDI. Non-resident external deposits. Non-resident external deposits means what the deposit in foreign country. They can never be referred as FDI. So because they are investing in a external country, not in India, so that is not coming under FDI. Right. Then global depository reports. Oh, so global depository receipts. What do you mean by global depository receipts? It is also known as IDR or International Depository Receipts. It is a certificate issued by a depository bank. It is a certificate issued by a bank, especially when you purchase shares in a foreign company, right? And deposit in the bank account. That is referred as IDR or GDR, right? Suppose you have some shares in American market, you will sell it in European Union, right? Then that will be referred as international depository receipts. Okay. Next, consider the following statements with regards to Nairobi flies recently appears in the news. The Nairobi flies attack pests that consume crops and are beneficial for humans. They are never beneficial for humans, right? They cause various skin rashes, right? Skin rashes develops because of Nairobi flies. So they are not beneficial. They do not consume pests. So this is also wrong. It cause born in on human skin. In human skin, it cause born. Right? These flies release a potent acidic substance called as pederine. Pederine, when they bite, that causes burns on skin. Yes, it causes burns on skin. That acidic substance pederine is released by these flies. Recently, outbreak in Assam is fast of its count outside Africa. Yes, it is endemic to Africa, especially Kenya. It is also called as Kenyan flies, right? Kenyan fly is also called as Kenyan flies. It is endemic to Africa, but it's seen that the outbreak in Assam affecting 100 students. So this is your Nairobi flies, right? Kenyan fly is also called as Kenyan flies. It is endemic to Africa, seen in Assam, and substance called as pederine is released that creates burn in the skin. So 2 and 3 options are right options. Next, recently Bani grassland is in news for ecological degradation due to invasion of alien tree species. Consider the following with reference to Bani grassland. Wildlife Institute of India (WIA) has identified the grassland reserve as one of the last remaining habitats of the cheetah in India. Yes, last remaining habitat of the cheetah in India. This Bani grassland, it is seen in the Rann of Kutch, right? It is seen in the Rann of Kutch region, right? And the Wildlife Institute of India (WIA) said it is last remaining habitats for cheetah in India. In this region, Kutch region, also we see Asiatic lion. There is Gir forest also. Asiatic lion in Gir forest, right? In Gir forest, we see Asiatic lion. It is dominated by low-growing forests and graminoids, which has shown drastic changes with deterioration of grassland taking place due to widespread ingress of Prosopis julifera. Prosopis julifera. It is uh, it is an alien tree species that has grown in that region. That's why there is deterioration of the grassland. So here both the statements are right. There it is. This Bani grassland. It is the largest. Remember, it is the largest grassland of Asia. Largest grassland of Asia is VANIK-IAS land. Right? Next, remember one more thing. There is a tribal hordman community inhabiting in VANIK. They are called as Maldharis tribe. Maldharis tribe. They live in those areas. It is a horseman in burning grassland, right? In burning grassland. NGT has recognized their rights over burning grassland, right? This Gir forest is also, it is a Gir National Park, Gir Forest National Park, where we see Asiatic lion. It is a home to around 8,000 of Maldharis. Maldharis tribes are seen on in those areas, right? They are given rights over the forest under Forest Right Act of 2006. These Maldharis are given rights over forest under Forest Right Act of 2006, right? And they cannot be displaced. That is what NGT has given the verdict with respect to it. Remember NGT is a NGT National Green Tribunal. It has been created by National Green Tribunal Act 2010. National Green Tribunal Act 2010. It has created NGT, right? NGT will dispose a case within 6 months. Remember, it has a mandate. It will mandated that it will dispose a case within 6 months. Within 6 months, right? It has five places in sittings. Five sittings. NGT has five sittings that are in your New Delhi. Remember, five sittings. One is New Delhi. New Delhi sitting of NGT. Then another is Bhopal, Pune, Kolkata, and Chennai. Right. This is five places. It's a statutory and adjudicatory body. Statutory body also because it is created by an act of a parliament. Right. Statutory adjudicatory body. Adjudicatory body. The body that means it can act and hear appeal like a tribunal. Right. It can hear appeal like a tribunal. It can hear appeal like a tribunal or court. Right. Okay. Consider the following statements with respect to recently released state ranking index of for NFSA 2022. It does not cover programs and schemes implemented by other ministries and departments under NFSA. Does not cover programs and schemes implemented by other ministries. Uh, implemented by other ministries and departments under NFSA. Among special category states, Tripura obtained the first rank. It is released, it's recently first of its kind. Yes, state ranking index of NFSA. Odisha has performed the best. Odisha has performed rank 1 National Food Security Index, right? And UP has become second, and third is Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh by other ministries and departments under NFSA. And among the special categories, Tripura has obtained the first rank. Yes, and release ranking of it. It is the recently released rank first rank. Odisha secured top position. UP is the second top. Andhra Pradesh, Delhi, Haryana, Punjab. They are among the bottom states who have performed least or worst in case of National food security. Okay, which of the following state has topped the rank in general category state in state ranking of accuracy? Odisha has secured rank first rank, and UP has second. And Andhra Pradesh is the third rank. Odisha has also secured rank one in case of MSME awards. In case of MSME awards, Odisha has secured one rank one, right? Uh, Rank one secured by Odisha, and rank two secured by Bihar, and rank 3 is secured by Himachal Pradesh, right? Sorry, it is Haryana. Haryana has secured rank so far as MSME awards are concerned, micro, small, and medium enterprises. C is the answer. With reference to Indian laws about wildlife protection, consider the following statements. Wild animals are sole property of the government. This is what they have asked this time in examination. Yes, wild animals are the sole property of the government under under Wildlife Protection Act. Right. Then when a wild animal is declared protected, such animal is entitled for equal protection whether it is found in protected areas or outside. Yes. Whether it is found in protected areas or outside, it entitled for equal protection. Apprehension of protected wild animal bring danger to human life is sufficient for its capture or killing. No, it's not sufficient for capture and killing. Just because it is becoming danger to human life, it can be shifted to the protected areas or national park or sanctuaries or zoo, but it cannot be sufficient to ground for capture and killing. So one, two options are right so far as yes. Next. Okay, National Food Security Act. According to the Act, only central government is responsible. Whenever you see only the general statements are wrong. Here, here it is state government. State government is responsible for identifying eligible households, right? And what issuing ration card distribution, food grain, and rental spare price shops are responsible for both state and central government. So, state government has major role regarding identifying the eligible households. State government has major roles. So, first statement is wrong. Under the act, right to recognize right to food is a legal right. No, this is not a legal right. Right. There is no such provision of regarding National Food Security Act that it has a legal right. Right. So first second statement is wrong. It is National Food Security Act. It is NFSA Act. It came in 2013. Right. It came in 2013. It provides 75 of rural population. 75 of rural population, they are entitled to the food grains, right? 35 kg of food grains they are entitled to, and 50% in case of urban areas. In case of urban areas, 50% are entitled to targeted public distribution system, right? Overall, there is 67%. Overall, 67% populations are covered under National Food Security Act, right? Those who are under Antyodaya Anna Yojana, they are also coming under National Food Security Act. The provision is 5 kg of food grains, of food grains per person, per month, at rupees 321 per kg, for rice, wheat, and coarse grain. So 3 kg for rice, 2 kg for wheat, and 1 kg for coarse grain uh, will be provided at this price, and 5 kg food grains per person per month will be provided. This is under National Food Security Act, right? Okay, next. Consider the following statements. Consider the following fairs. Gaddar Fort Hambantota Port, Chittagong Port, Mundra Port. How many above pairs are correctly matched? How many above pairs are correctly matched? Gadar Port, Pakistan. Hambantota, Gadar Port is right. It is in Pakistan. Hambantota Port, it is Sri Lanka. That is given lease for 100 years to China. Sri Lanka has given. Chittagong Port, it is not India. It is in Bangladesh. Why Chittagong Port was in news? It is the most important port of Bangladesh, through which 90% of trade of Bangladesh they have done, right? And it has Sheikh Hasina, the Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has offered this port to India, right, for its development. So, so this is was news that is Chittagong Port, Chittagong Port City, or it is also called as Chattogram, right? Chittagong or Chattogram or Chittagong Port, right? Then Mundra Port. Mundra Port is not in Bangladesh. Mundra Port is it is in Kutch region, right? It is Mundra Port is in Kutch region of Gujarat. Region of Gujarat. Mundra Port is in Kutch region of Gujarat, and that is the biggest private port. Private port. Private port. Adani, controlled by Adani. That is Mundra Port. So only two pairs are the right here. If a particular plant species is placed under Schedule 6 of the Wildlife Protection Act 1972, what is the implications? A particular species is put that is a license is to cultivate that plant. A license is required to cultivate that plant if that is placed in Schedule 6 of the Wildlife Protection Act. So our objective question discussion over here. Now we'll go for prelims fact, some brief news, prelims fact. Then we'll discuss main topic, right? Okay, for example, why not it is Nairobi flies. Nairobi flies, it is we have already discussed. It is around 100 students of engineering college of East Sikkim have reported skin infections, that is with Nairobi flies. Nairobi flies, what is this Nairobi fly? They are also called as Kenyan flies or dragon bugs, small beetle like insects that belong to two species, that is Piderus eximus, Piderus sabius, Piderus eximus and Piderus sabius. These are the two species of Nairobi flies. They are orange and black in color, thrive in areas with high rainfall and been witnessed in Sikkim in the past. Areas in high rainfall, right? High rainfall, with areas with high rainfall and Sikkim in past weeks. Like most insect, beetles are attracted by bright light. How humans are getting affected? Usually insects attack pests that consume crops. Generally, insects attack pests that consume crops are beneficial for human. But at times they come in contact with human directly, cause harm. These flies do not bite, but if disturbed while sitting on anyone's skin, they release potent acidic substance that cause burn. Potent acidic substance that causes burn. The substance is called as pederine. The substance is called as pederine. So when pederine is released by that Nairobi flies, that causes irritation on the skin, leading to lesions. Lesions means such type of structure, or for example, like balloon type of structure on your skin that develops. Lesions on the marks coloring of the skin. Skin begins to heal in a week or two, but some secondary infection can occur, especially in the victim scratches that irritates the skin. So that's called college skin irritation or skin burns by the chemical that is called as pederine, that is released by the Nairobi flies. Have been there outbreaks for the disease. Major outbreaks have happened in Kenya and other parts of Eastern Africa. Other parts of Africa, it is primarily endemic to Africa. 1998 usually heavy rain caused large number of insects to come into the region, reported Associated Press. Outside Africa, outbreaks have happened in India, Japan, Israel, Paraguay in the past. What is the way to protect oneself from Nairobi flies? Sleeping under mosquito nets can help, right? Sleeping under mosquito nets, a fly lands on a person, it should be gently brushed off and should not be disturbed or touched to reduce the chances of and should not be disturbed. It is gently brushed off and should not be disturbed or touched to reduce the chances of releasing pedaline. It may release pedaline, right? The area where flies sit should be washed with soap and water. If they are squelched and end up leaving toxic fluid in the skin, care should be taken that unwashed hands do not touch or other part of the body, particular the eyes. So they must need to be protected by using mosquito nets and they can be use soap and water if it is sitting and the area where it sits, right? Restoring burning grassland. There is Gujarat battles the invasive tree species, right? There is invasive tree species that battles Gujarat. Gujarat is the first department would restore 10,000 hectares of burning grassland in the coming year, every year in the coming decade. The grasslands of Gujarat constitute about 4.33% of geographical area, distributed 8 districts in 3 climatic region that is Kutch, Saurashtra and Central Gujarat. 3 climatic region, Kutch region, Saurashtra region and Central Gujarat. The majority of the grassland in Gujarat, 41% are found in the Kutch district. Right? Majority of grasslands are found in the Kutch district. Bani grassland was declared protected forest in 1995 under Forest Indian Forest Act 1927. Bani grassland is declared as a protected forest under 1950 in 1955 under Indian Forest Act 1927. Besides having 40 species of grass and 99 species of flowering plants, Bani is also home to Indian oaf, jackal, Indian fox, desert cat, caracal, hyena, chinkara, nilgai, wild boar, Indian hare, common monitor lizard, and cheetah before it became extinct. Right? It was the cheetah. It was also cheetah species was also living there. It has also 270 bird species in the years of good rainfall and also there are migratory birds. So there is a huge biological diversity in case of there is animal diversity and plant diversity seen in the grassland, right? Burning grassland, it is the largest grassland of Asia. Remember, it is the largest grassland of Asia. Threat to Bani grassland over the years. The landscape of Bani has shown drastic changes with degradation of the grassland taking place due to heavy uncontrolled grazing. Threat to Bani grassland over the years. The landscape of Bani has shown drastic change in deterioration of grassland taking place due to heavy uncontrolled grazing. Widespread ingress of widespread ingress of Prospis julifera, harmful exotic tree species that is Prosopis julifera. Dams constructed on river flowing towards Bani, periodic occurrence of droughts, and continuous increase soil salinity. Continuous increase in soil salinity. It was found that in the year 1989, the area was dominated with grasslands covering 54% of the area, followed by saline areas devoid of vegetation, sparsely distributed vegetation covering 20%. Prospis julifera, invasive species covering 15% of the area. Right? It was covering 15% of the area. The land use cover assessment of the grassland over 10 years interval revealed that grassland areas over the period gradually reduced, while the same period of Prosopis julifera dominant area increased and encroached more than 30%. So from a share of 15% in 10 years, it has increased and encroached more than 30% with a gap of 20 years to Prosopis julifera dominant areas of doubled in Bani, right? So in Bani grassland, this Prosopis julifera is becoming dominant and doubled in just 10 years, right? The mainstay of the restoration project is the removal of this alien species, which incidentally was introduced to the area by Forest Department in 1960s to stop the ingress of salt floods as the tree increases salinity, right? To stop the ingress of salt floods, and this it was introduced by Forest Department, but it has increased up to double and covered around 30% of Bani grassland. It's an invasive species. Now it is the objective is to removal of this alien species in Bani grassland. Prosopis. So this is Prosopis julifera. Prosopis julifera, right? It's a huge 20 lakh livestock population that depends on the grassland. Second part of the project envision production and storing of fodder for the local farming and pastoral communities living there. Step second has been target bring additional 2,400 hectare under controlled grass cultivation 2023 by the state government. Forest department achieved this target by creating 27 grass plots for varying size and accumulating covering 2,400 hectare. Gando Babal, Prospis julifera, another unwanted vegetation has been removed from this plot. Protective trench has been dug around them. Right. Okay. Next, center to soften punitive steps in environment cases. Punitive steps in environment cases. The Union government in a ministry proposes to soften the provisions of the Environment Protection Act by replacing a clause that provides imprisoning violators with one that only requires them to pay a fine. The Union Government Ministry proposes to soften the provisions of Environmental Protection Act by replacing the clause that provides imprisoning violators with one that only requires them to pay a fine. However, this does not apply to violations that cause grave injury or loss of life. The proposed fines in a lieu of imprisonment or a 5 to 500 times greater than the currently levied. 5 to 500 times greater than currently levied, right? Okay. So we have to think about two things. In the one hand, we have to think about environment. In the second hand, we have to think about the investment in case of industry to create employment opportunities or economical growth. But the issue is that if you are strengthening the environmental laws, then obviously investor will not be interested because in many times they are got violated and they do not want to be punished. So the big industrialists they do not want to be punished. Here there is a provision regarding the imprisonment of the violators. But that is why that imprisonment clause that need to be even converted into a fine which is higher fine that may be 500 times greater than the currently levied fine. So it is increasing the fine and reducing the sentence, right? Reducing the sentence that is to be done according to investor sentiment. However, in case of grave injury on life, this do not apply, right? This do not apply in case of grave injury or where threatens the life of other people. The Act currently says that violator will be punishable with imprisonment up to 5 years or a fine up to 1 lakh or both. where violation to continue. Additional fine up to 5,000 daily during such failure or contravention continues. After the conviction would be levied. There is a provision for the jail terms to extend to 7 years. There is also provision for jail terms extend to 7 years. So that was mandating around 5 to 7 years of imprisonment. Two major changes proposed: appointing an adjudication officer who will decide on the penalty in case of environmental violations, such as reports not being submitted and information not being provided demanded. However, in case of serious violations which lead to grievous injury or loss of life, they are shall be covered under the Protection of Indian Penal Code 1860 with Section 24 of the Environmental Protection Act. So, especially they are cutting converted into a fine. There will be an adjudicating officer, and there is a proposal to replace this imprisonment with by a fine, huge fine. The funds collected as the penalties will be accrued to the Environmental Protection Fund. In case of contravention of the act, the penalty would extend anywhere from 5 lakh to 5 crore. Right? In case of contravention of the act regarding environmental protection, the it may be up to 5 crore. The removal of prison themselves. The removal of prison terms also applies to Air Act, which is a cornerstone legislation for dealing with air pollution. To the Water Act, which deals with pollution to the water bodies. Okay. It also right. So it also talks about the environmental protection of water bodies and also the regarding air pollution. Next, Odisha tops the implementation of National Food Security Act. Then Goa is the center ranked Odisha first and Goa last across general category states. Right. So Odisha top the top 10. Okay, let's discuss one main topic. What are the challenges to our cultural practices in the name of secularism? In the name of secularism, what are the challenges to our cultural practices? Both are important in a society because the culture is important regarding the identity of Indian nation. It is identity of a community is based on the culture, right? So far as culture and tradition is concerned, we cannot apply region, or faith is concerned, we cannot apply region because faith or tradition is something integral to the human life or a particular society. So in those cases, many times region are not subjected. For example, suppose if we suppose the god, especially in case of Hinduism, god are worshipped by made up of stone or wood, right? If we consider it is only wood because there is no rationality, how it becomes a god, then the very existence of the faith will be thought. That's why, so far as tradition and culture is considered, we should not apply regions. And when yes, only in case of certain cases when that is violating of the basic human rights or natural rights, then only you can apply region unless and until it creates a huge problem or violates the freedom of others or creates a huge environmental impact. It should not be stopped. Otherwise, it will create law and order issues and discontent among the certain communities in a society. So another thing is what is secularism. Secularism means there is no state religion of India. Right? India do not have any state religion. It will give equal protection to all the religions in India. So every religious people will enjoy equal rights, and there will be no discrimination on the basis of religion, under Article 13, 14, 15. Sorry, under Article 14, 15, and 16. And also under Article 25, 26, 27, and 28, it gives absolute freedom regarding religious practices and regarding yourself, regarding the propagation of religious ideas, and also following of a particular faith. A person has absolute right and individual right that he may preach anybody he wishes. God is thoroughly absent in the constitution. Okay. So now there is a conflict between the secularism and cultural practices. There is also a word secularization. Secularization means by various means of public awareness and also by uh, various means of public awareness and also by education. The we reduce we try to reduce the impact of religion in the society, because religion often seen there are many positives of the religion, also there is negatives of the religion. In case of India, many times we see communal riots, and also there are some blind faiths so far as religion so far as religious practice is concerned. So government, and there is also India has suffered the post humanitarian crisis or migrant crisis in the partition, and which is based on religious views. Especially Pakistan is got created on the based on a particular religion, right? So India has a past in which we have suffered a lot because of religion. That's why we are practicing secularization. So by various types of awareness, we are reducing the impact of religion in our lifestyles or society. So, okay. So what are the challenges to our cultural practices? Now to discuss. So that is secularism. So secularization. So, what are the challenges to our cultural practices? Since independence, I've been following a peculiar nation of secularism, where all religions are treated equally. We have a different type of secularism. For example, in case of West, there is no interference of state in the matter of religion, and religious gurus they will not interfere in the matter of the state. So there is complete separation between the state and the religion. But in case of India, we have a different kind of secularism, that is coexistence of the matter of the state. That means state can interfere in religious practices. Also, uh, religious people they are also interfering in the matter of the state and as a public citizen. Or, for example, government has abolished the triple talaq, which is religious practices, and although many Muslim people are opposing it because it was violating the dignity and fundamental right of a woman. Okay. So certain religious practices like in past also sati, widow remarriage, this such type of religious practices are also, and cultural legislation has brought these changes in our certain cultural practices. Okay, what is the issue now? Present undergoing paradigm change in the constitutional morality in being considered a significant component of secularism by the judiciary. Another characteristic the change, the growth of misguided perception about secularism. The ultimate outcome of these changes are various challenges in our diverse cultural practices. So, cultural practices are challenges. There are various challenges with our diverse cultural practices. Let's see what are the challenges. First thing, religiousness is anti-secular and pro-fundamentalist. The perception discourages various religious practices like rituals, clothing, thoughts, who wear saffron dress, who keep word, pets call calf, are considered as fundamentalists. Right? So every religion, their religious dress, and those there is, for example, in case of Muslim, there is to keep beard and also beard, and there is also skull calf. So in all these cases, they are seen as pro-fundamentalist. So this is a misguided perception. Religiousness is not being fundamentalist. Fundamentalist when you become rigid, when you become rigid so far as your practice of religion is concerned, or you think that my religion is the best religion or the religion are not the best religion. So that is when the issues came forward. Secularism is equated to atheism and apostasy. Also, this is one other issue in the opposite argument. Secularism equated to atheism and apostasy. Secularism is not atheism, right? You are not. Just because you do not believe in God, that doesn't make you secular. Secular means you are respecting each and every religion properly, right? Those who do not believe in God or abandon the religious beliefs are marked as secular. It's not like that. Secular means respecting each religion equally. This thought is leading to a slow degradation of cultural practices, right? So, degradation of cultural practices is now witnessed because of the various forces of modernization and westernization. But also, there is a trend that those who are secular, they should be atheist. Okay. So, this is a misguided perception. The restriction of food choices. Some states are following vegetarian religious sentiments, restricting the sale of beef. There is restriction of food choices that also hamper the cultural practices, right? Restriction of food choices, vegetarian religious sentiments. It is also mentioned in the constitution in certain states that government should ban the cattle uh, because that hurts the majority sentiment. In one hand, as there are different communities living together, so and certain food practices of certain community is not liked by the other community. So there is restriction of food practices that also hamper the, but also hamper the community sentiments. Then judicio-papism, right? Sometimes judiciary also take narrow claims of secularism, interferes in religious celebration. For example, Rajasthan High Court ban on Santhara and Supreme Court's ban on sale of crackers on Diwali, right? So Supreme Court's ban on sale of crackers in Diwali is also one type of judicial interference in case of cultural practices, which are many times seen as extrajudicial or judicial overreach. We can also say judicial overreach because the fact is that these things are the job of executive, right? And it is they, for example, it is the uh, crackers and Diwali. Diwali is a major festival of the Hinduism, and many people are interested to crack this Diwali. And there should not be complete ban. We should get awareness among the masses regarding the pollution, right? The causes by the pollution, and also at the same time, for example, there is Christmas tree. In case of Christmas tree, so many trees are cut down for celebration. So that is also hampering our environment. So in both the cases, we should uh, we should create awareness rather than completely banning the sale of crackers. Then challenges due to rise of constitutional morality. Following are the grounds of the objection of several cultural practices as considered by the judiciary. Right to equality. Right to equality. The practice of triple talaq and ban on entry of women. Yes, this is one of the Sabarimala were all declared unlawful by the Supreme Court. And those who are done on account of gender inequality and exploitation inherent to these practices. Now the rise in case of right to equality, it is a special case. For example, Sabrimala's case is a special case. It is not that all the temples are in all the temples in Kerala they ban the women, right? Women they ban women. Do not happen usually. So they are considered as it is not violative of the equality rights. As every religious institution or every temple has their special rights, a different god have different customs, different traditions, and they are based on that those traditions. Similarly, in case of Sabarimala, that is the only temple that forbids the women because the god is the Brahmachari. That's why this is not subject. That is, and Supreme Court has declared this is unlawful. That's why it is ordered the bench ordered the order that women can go to Sabarimala, and that led to huge protest and law and order issues in that area. So without understanding the repercussions, and Supreme Court also they should respect the cultural and traditions of individual community. So as women are allowed in all other temples, so it is only a special temple where women are not allowed. There is also some other temple where men are also not allowed. So that affects the constitution, that affects the uh, very sanctity of that institution, and that the challenge that arise because of constitutional morality, and Supreme Court should give the verdict. And because and after the Lloyd issue came forward, then Supreme Court banned it, right? Stop the its verdict, hold it. Animal rights. Supreme Court banned traditional practice of Jallikattu because of the cruelty to animals involved in this. Traditional practice. So this is traditional practice of Jallikattu, cruelty of animals involved in this. But so far as if you see Jallikattu, there is every day, because in there are so many every day for food practices, so many animals are killed, right? And in Jallikattu, the cruelty to animals is not that much. It is not so significant like like those goats or other animals, fox, or the cattle that are killed every day. So banning this Jallikattu is a it is banning the traditional practice, because cruelty to animals involved in this. It's a debatable concept. That's why it is not accepted by the public. There are many protests. There is many lot of issue. So such type of uh, traditional practices, they are challenged by the Supreme Court in the name of secularism. So this is the issue. Okay. Then obsession to harmful cultural practices. The illegality of yes, the illegality of female genital mutilation practices in Dawoodi Bohra community was brought into light in 2018. The Central Supreme Court having the opinion to ban this practice in India. Thus, it is obvious that while some of the challenges are the outcome of the misleading notion of secularism, others are due to excluded discriminating nature of the cultural practices only. So, there is some discrimination in the cultural practices like Sabarimala. The solution lies in getting all the stakeholders like religious leaders, judges and rights activists, civil society groups, NGO, government representatives together and over a common platform to discuss the challenges and to bring unanimity for preserving the cultural practices of the country. It should not be enforced by the Supreme Court, rather than it need to be discussed with the civil society and all the stakeholders, and the decision must be taken by consensus, not by imposed or forced by the Supreme Court so far as cultural practices are concerned. There is also in case of certain cultural practices that need to be stopped, which violates the fundamental right of a particular person or violates the natural rights. So up to this is today. The discussion completes here. Like this video and share this video and encourage us. Thank you.